let's discuss about agile software development lifecycle model. Okay, so if you see nowadays all the companies are moving towards agile software development lifecycle. Earlier they used to use waterfall model or V-shaped model or some other models, but nowadays everyone is showing interest and moving towards agile software development lifecycle. So it's very trendy in the market. Okay, most of the companies are shifting to agile. Okay, because of its you know uh, a fast growing things. Okay, so let's discuss about what is so important in agile development life cycle and what are there. So it will be having a iteration wise. Okay, so the entire project time is divided into increments. Okay, so each increment we can also call it as sprint. Remember, some people say it is increment, some people say it is iteration, and some people pronounce it as sprint. Okay, so remember all are same. So in the entire project time will be divided into a number of sprints or number of increments. Okay, in each increment we start getting a requirements, we'll be having a requirement, and these requirements will be designing it and coding it and testing it. Once we test it, we'll also show the a small demo to the customer, and we'll be delivering this particular release to the customer. Okay, and in the next segment, okay, so we'll be taking another set of requirements and we'll be designing, coding, testing, and demoing it, and we'll be releasing to the customer. And it goes like this until we finished all set of requirements. Okay, so let me tell you in a proper way. So in the agile methods, what we do is we'll gather the requirements. Okay, we'll gather the requirements in upfront. Right, we'll try to gather all the requirements. Okay, once the requirements are gathered, we'll take set of requirements. Okay, let's take few requirements. Requirement set one. Okay, so we'll start a increment increment one. Okay, so the deliverables, once we show a demo to the customer, we'll be releasing the application to the customer, the system to the customer, and the customer can able to see the application. Okay, so in the increment one itself, the customer can able to see the system and he can able to use some of the features. Okay, not all the features. So in the increment one, we'll try to do some minimal features and we'll be give it to him. We'll try to access those features. Okay, and he can able to look into that and see. So this is what he is this is what he is expecting or not. Okay, if he feels that okay, the system is designed in the increment is so what I expected, it's going fine, good. Otherwise he'll give you the feedback. Okay, after the increment we'll be releasing the system to customer, and once you release the system to customer, so you might get a feedback from customer. So that's the reason I just moved a backward arrow, you can see. So once it is released, once the system is released to the customer, he can able to look into the system, he can able to access the system, he can able to experience the system. Once all these things are done, if he has any feedback to be given to the customer, sorry, any feedback given to the team, the development team or the product team, he will be giving this feedback to the team. Okay, so now what they do, the team will take the requirement set to, they will take another set of requirements. Okay, and also the feedback which comes from the customer. Okay, so together they'll start a increment 2, and finally they release the system, and the customer again will look into the system. Okay, and if he experiences the system, he accesses the system, and once if he has any feedback, again he will be giving the feedback to the team. Okay, and now what they do, 3, and the recent feedback. Okay, the feedback might be done immediately, or they might done it later, instead of immediately doing in the requirement, in the increment 2, sorry, in the increment 3, instead of immediately doing in the next increment. Okay, that is increment 3. So they might do on the increment 4 or increment 5 or whatever it is. Okay, but they will be finally addressing those feedback to the customer. So they definitely addressing those feedback, but they might do immediately, or they might do after some time. Okay, after some increments. Okay, anything is okay, and they'll be releasing the system to the customer, and you'll be getting the feedback. Okay, so here few things you need to remember. One is, customer can able to experience the system for every increment. That is very important. And the second thing is, customer can able to see the application growing. Okay, in the requirement, in the increment 1, he will be getting a with a very minimal requirements, he will be getting a one application. Okay, in the increment 2, some more features added to the application. In increment 3, some more new features are added to the application. Okay, so in that way, so once all the increments are over, customer can able to see the entire application. Okay, so you can see the application is growing slowly. Okay, increment by increment, you can see the application is growing. Okay, you can see applications are added with new and new features. Okay, you can see that. And most important thing is, for every increment, the product team is nothing but a testing team and development team all together, we can call it as product team, will be getting feedback from the customer. Okay, so this is very much important. So what happens if you take the waterfall model or V model? What they do? Okay, so they, whatever it is. Okay, once the entire application is coded and the entire application is tested, then only the application will be given to the customer. Once everything is done, once the entire application is built, then only the product team will be giving the system to the customer. Okay, once the customer sees the application, so there are chances that he might surprise, oh, this is not I'm expecting, so you develop something in different way. Okay, let's modify it. So once we done everything, and if we say, so this is not I'm expecting, let's modify it. So we have to put lot of effort. Okay, so there are chances happens. Okay, so there are things are happen like that. That's the reason from the waterfall model, V model is evolved, and that's the reason from the V model we can see agile model now. Okay, if it is a small application, yes, we can use either waterfall model, or if the requirements are very small and it's not a very bigger application, then you can go for waterfall model or V model. That doesn't matter. But if the application is too big, okay, so it is better to get the feedback from the customer every time we do something. Okay, in that case, agile model is best suitable for that. Okay, so in the agile model, for every increment, you can able to get the feedback from the customer. Okay, so let's say if you develop something, and in the very beginning itself, he can say that, okay, so you are going in a wrong direction. So this is not I'm expecting. Okay, the customer will come to the picture once again. He'll give the requirements once again clearly. Okay, so those things happens only with agile software development lifecycle model. Okay. So in the agile model, so you require to remember these 3 points at any point of time. These are very important. Okay. So that's the reason people are choosing agile model for these reasons. Okay. Not only that, and also the time. Okay. Complete the project in minimal time comparatively other models. Okay, you can compare with any other model. So comparatively, so with the agile model you can able to complete the things faster, because in every increment we are doing a set of deliverables. Customer can able to use it. Okay, in every increment we are doing the uh, development and testing, and also we'll be making sure the documentation is written, everything is ready. Okay, and we are releasing to the customer, and he can able to use it. Okay, and he can able to deploy it also. From the next increment onwards, he can see some more new features added to the application in the same way. From the increment one itself, he can able to deploy his application. Okay, and attract the users, attract the end users. Okay, that's the advantage of agile model. And if you see in every increment, what they do is in every increment, they do the design, coding, testing, and finally showing the demo to the customer. Like that, these increments will go on and okay, and go on, and finally the customer can able to see the end application. Okay, that's about agile software development lifecycle. And coming to some of the agile methods, okay, there are many agile practices are there. So when you say agile model, the agile model itself, there are few kinds of flavors are there. One is adaptive software development and future driven development, crystal clear dynamic software development method, rapid application development, scrum, extreme programming, a regional unified process. Okay, the mostly used one is a scrum. Okay, so that's about. And if you see any agile practices or any agile software development life cycle model, all are looks like very similar with very few minor changes. Okay, apart of that everything is same. Do not worry, there are so many things. Okay, but most of them are very similar with one or two minor changes. Okay, and mostly used one is scrum. So that's about agile methods.